Here are the Uruguayan Primera División stadiums. Estadio Parque Artigas. Like many stadiums in this league, it is named for the park in which it's located. A park that 25 years ago was just a big green park with nothing but trees and grass. It now has not only a stadium, but a shopping centre as well. That's progress in my books, never mind the tapers. What? Estadio Luis Trocoli. Interestingly, the stands at this stadium are named after other South American countries: Argentina, Paraguay, Brazil, and Chile. Poor Bolivia. The best aspect, however, would have to be the 3D mural that surrounds parts of the stadium, which is made from waste products. I believe they call that re-upping. No. Upwards recycling? Upcycling. Estadio Arquitecto Antonio Ubilla. I assume it's named after the architect that designed the stadium, but I couldn't confirm that. The stadium just got done with a renovation last year, but my favourite design feature here predates that. It's the little visor-like roof over the main stand. So, if it was you, Antonio, who designed it, you did a good job with that. Estadio Jardines del Hipódromo Maria Minchev de Lazarov. This was the first stadium in the country to be named after a woman. To be clear, Jardines del Hipódromo is the neighborhood in which it's located. Maria Minchev de Lazarov was the mother of the founders of the club. Design-wise, I like it. It has one or two distinctive stands, and it just looks like a complete stadium. Estadio Luis Franzini is located just a stone's throw from the beach. So if your team gets absolutely destroyed, don't fret. After the game, you can wash away your tears in the actually maybe not. That looks a bit petrochemical-y. Anyway, this stadium's simple construction is made up for by the fact that it has purple seating throughout, albeit bench seating. Estadio Domingo Burgueno Miguel Atenas de San Carlos. The club that plays here are nicknamed the King of the Interior, yet Maldonado is a coastal city. I guess they just really have good taste for interior design. Well, I do love the colour blocking they've got going on the main stand here, that's gorgeous. And there is plenty of natural light coming in as well, which I appreciate. Estadio Parque Capurro. Ooh, this one's even closer to the water than the one we saw earlier, and spectators are treated to a rather nice view of it. Estadio Luis Franzini wins when it comes to the purpleness though. This is not quite as purple. It does have this unique diagonal checkerboard section, which is pretty cool. It represents the club's shirt, which also looks pretty cool. Parque Palermo is right next door to a much more famous stadium that'll be coming up soon. As you can see, the grass field was in very poor condition, so they've since installed an artificial turf field, and I've got to say, this is one of the rare instances where I think the fake turf looks a lot better. Estadio Belvedere. In case you're wondering why so many of the clubs are based in Montevideo, well, more than half of Uruguayans live here, so it makes perfect sense. What seemingly makes less sense is that the club is named after Liverpool, yet they play in blue. Well, they are in fact named after the city and not the club. I believe there is some connection between the two cities. Most of Uruguay's coal arrived from Liverpool back in the day, for instance. Estadio Centenario is the largest stadium in the country. It was built for the inaugural Football World Cup in 1930. Surprisingly, the design has changed very little in those 93 years. There has of course been renovations here and there, and the amenities have been upgraded somewhat. It's gone from mostly bench seating to mostly bucket seating. There are plans to upgrade the stadium extensively in time for the 2030 World Cup, where Uruguay could potentially be one of the hosts. That upgrade is set to include a retractable roof. Estadio Parque Alfredo Victor Vieira is situated not only right by a park and a river, but by several other stadiums. We'll talk about them later on. You wouldn't be able to tell it's in such a stadium-dense area, as you can see nothing but trees in the backdrop. I'm not complaining. Other than that, it's like many we've seen so far. There's a lot of concrete to sit on. Gran Parque Central. Having opened in 1900, this is the oldest football stadium in the country, and indeed the continent. It was home to the Uruguay national team until Estadio Centenario was built. That stadium may have usurped it in some areas, but there is at least one feature that it can't boast. And that is this huge Montevideo board, which is the largest of its kind in the country. Estadio Campeón del Siglo, from the oldest to the newest stadium in the league. It is one of just two that were built in the 21st century. However, they did actually start planning the construction of the stadium decades ago. Strangely, when the stadium first opened, they left 3 out of the 4 stands unpainted. It looked ugly, to be honest. Thankfully, they came to their senses, and a few years later they were painted in club colours. Parque Juan Prandi is the smallest stadium in the league, but due to that, it has a nice, cozy and relaxed atmosphere. Perhaps not for the birds in those trees over there, that are just trying to get some sleep in their nests, because the club recently installed some much brighter floodlights, as you can probably tell. The owls don't mind it though. Estadio Osvaldo Roberto is named after the founder of Racing Club de Montevideo, who also played for the club, which is often the case. There is just a very small section of bucket seating at this ground, the rest is benches, but it's looking pretty tidy, partially due to that green wall that surrounds the field, which sorta just ties the whole place together. Estadio Sarodi is situated in a city called Montevideo. Have you heard of it? It's located around 225 meters away from another ground that's already been featured in the video. And there's yet another stadium in between them. And then another one just across the road. Man, the stadium density in this city is on par with the casino density in Las Vegas, or the canal density of Amsterdam, or the convenience store density of Taiwan. And those were the stadiums of the Uruguayan Primera División. Time to pick a favourite. I think I have to go with Gran Parque Central. It just has a lot going on. If you're new around here, please consider subscribing, and as always, thanks for watching, have a good one.